Greetings, students. In our last video, we discussed the demonic origins of the glyphs known as emojis. In this video, I'll dissect for you what I believe to be the magnum opus of the emoji conspiracy. On July 28, 2017, the Emoji Movie premiered in the United States. On July 29th, the reviews began pouring in. The Emoji Movie was reviled by the critic community, garnering a staggeringly low 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. Despite its abysmal quality, the film was embraced by the international establishment. Saudi Arabia ended its 35-year cinema ban in order to screen the Emoji Movie. How does a country so notoriously puritanical choose for its first film a movie with this as its poster? When reading its credits, it seems that every unfamiliar name leads directly to the fringes of occult society. The film was financed in part by L-Star Capital. This turns out to be the investment fund of a billionaire who, in 2015, bought as a second home the house of the Antichrist from the 1976 horror film The Omen. And who knows what he's planning on doing in there. Googling the sole special thanks listed in the film's IMDb page shows a woman in ceremonial magical garb whose only mention in the press seems to be as the one-time girlfriend of a scalping torturer. Oddly, a different special thanks is given in the film's actual credits, this one linking to an academic whose Twitter feed reveals him to be a proficient technological demonologist. Nor is the Emoji Movie shy about advertising its occult connections in the mise-en-scène. It envisions a world where school-aged children are taught the Egyptian mysteries.
Hieroglyphics.
Additionally, it makes a major character of the devil, despite there being no such emoji in the set. There is a purple devil and a red Oni, but this character is clearly and intentionally differentiated from either of those to make him fit more precisely the stereotypical devil character in Western pop culture. Allow me to summarize briefly the plot for the wise majority that avoided this film. A boy attempts to seduce a girl by sending her emojis.
I gotta reply to Addie's text.
But the emoji glitches. Inside the phone, the glitched emoji is in trouble.
They're gonna fix me?
Actually, delete you.
But flees his punishment and attempts to unglitch himself.
That's where we'll find the source code to reprogram you.
The boy tries to fix his phone, but stops when he realizes that the girl liked the glitched emoji. Then all the emojis glitch in celebration. It is, on one of its lower levels, a primer for the youth on text message magic and practical demonology. But what else are we to make of this? There is a broad cross-cultural practice that I call ritual drama. In The Golden Bough, Fraser describes a Bavarian ceremony in which the men of the town perform a play that culminates in a man bedecked in leaves, the Green Man, being ritually executed. This was intended to kill spring while it was still robust, thus triggering its robust rebirth the following year. Similarly, in the Abruzzi, he describes a drama in which the town gives an honorable burial to the licentious spirit of the carnival, in the hopes that the wild creature will lay his lawlessness to rest after they have celebrated his decadence for the past few days. I contend the Emoji Movie is a distinctly contemporary American occult example of ritual drama. We already know that emojis have direct correspondences to specific goetic demons. I contend that the limited, intentional use of face emojis in this film contains an occult history of Silicon Valley and a prophecy concerning stock options, all packaged in a ritual drama intended to hammer at the chains that bind the demonic forces to their goetic seals. The three face emojis in this film are Smiler, Nerdface, and Meh. For a film about emojis, one might have expected more, but this is what we get. These three correspond to Agares, Malthus, and Botus. An important thing to understand about these demons is that, in addition to their seals, they all have specific qualities and offices. According to Livre d'Esprit, Agares is a duke whose principal office is hunting down missing persons. Malthus is a bird demon who builds high towers and strongholds, throws down the buildings of enemies, and brings together technicians from distant ports in the world. Botus is a fortune teller with big teeth and two horns who carries a bright and sharp sword. We are told in the film that
I was the original emoji.
Sloan Manuscript 3824 mentions agares as a spirit who identifies treasure, and moreover describes a method for drawing agares into a crystalline matrix. Could it be that the miniaturization specialists at Apple Computers infused their microchips with agares' demonic essence in order to corner the massive cell phone market? Her profile as a finder of missing persons also makes her a convincing candidate as the force behind Facebook. The plot of this movie is typically infernal. Malphus is supposedly a lieutenant of Agares, but ends up aiding Botus in his overthrow, albeit in his bird form as the Twitter avatar. Are the filmmakers trying to tell us that the sorcerers at Twitter summoned Malphus in an attempt to throw down the towers of Facebook and Apple? This entity would also be particularly useful for his ability to summon technicians from around the world, a practice Silicon Valley is known to be in need and make frequent use of. Now we can finally deal with our third force, Botus. His minor function is to represent Bitcoin, a company whose stock undergoes the same contortions that does his character, and which his name nearly maps to anagrammatically. This function plays into the prophecy encoded into this movie, that if he, as Bitcoin, ever unites with the dispossessed hacker princess, Julian Assange, the latter would come into great fortune. This has already come to pass between the making of the Emoji Movie and the making of this video, doubtlessly acted upon by Mr. Assange as soon as he saw the film. But Mez's major function is not actually as Botus, but as a typical representative of the lower ranks of Hell. Botus is listed as a mere earl in the Lesser Key of Solomon, and is virtually unknown in the other texts. The important thing about him here is that he is denying his profile. He is meant to hold the meh face, but he emotes otherwise. Along similar lines, his functionality in the story has nothing to do with his traditional demonic profile of revealing past and future. In one of the most iconic scenes in the film, Agares is lecturing Botus that he must fill his profile and behave as expected when the sorcerers exploit him. She demonstrates this by taking on Botus' form, his two big horns, his big teeth, and pulling out his bright and shining sword. But Botus ignores her and persists in his heresy. The ultimate victory of the mercurial Botus eventually spreads rebelliousness to all of the demons in Silicon Valley. The ending credits are an apocalyptic Saturnalia, with demons switching identities and perverting their very essences in an insane roundabout orgy of postmodern dissociation. As a ritual drama, this film attempts to liberate demons from the control of their seals, a demonic move initiated by Hollywood against the Sultan of Oman, and a wildly irresponsible leap into Armageddon. To unbind the bound demons merely because your enemies hold the reins, it is the nuclear apocalypse of sorcery. It is, perhaps, the latest attempt by the Illuminati to restructure the world after what they see in the mirror. The forces of hell have been sniffing around the American West Coast for some time, and I dare say that Silicon Valley might be the theater of their ultimate success. I shall follow this thread soon. But until next time, may the Pyramid's eye watch over us all.